7 signs that people are being totally fake with you. Fake people are like shadows. They follow you in the sun but leave you in the dark. Inspired by ancient wisdom. Welcome back to Stoic in Your Life. Have you ever had the feeling that someone in your circle might not be as genuine as they seem? In today's video, we'll uncover 7 unmistakable signs that someone is being totally fake with you. But this isn't just about spotting deceit. We'll also explore how Stoic philosophy can empower you to navigate these relationships with clarity and calm. By the end, you'll not only know how to recognize insincerity, but also how to safeguard your peace of mind and maintain control over your emotions. As we go through these signs, think about your own experiences. How often have you encountered these behaviors? Share your thoughts in the comments, and let's start a meaningful conversation. Let's get into it. Number 1. Absent when you need them. When it comes to relationships, one of the most telling signs that someone is being insincere or fake with you is their noticeable absence when you need them most. These individuals are often present when times are good, quick to laugh and share in your joy, but vanish as soon as challenges arise. Have you ever been in a situation where you reached out for a helping hand or a listening ear and received nothing but an excuse like, "I'm really busy right now," or "I'll call you later," only for that promised call to never come? This behavior isn't just disappointing, it's disheartening, especially when you've poured genuine care and trust into the relationship. In modern Stoicism, such moments are illuminated not as failures of friendship, but as opportunities to recalibrate your expectations and strengthen your inner resilience. Marcus Aurelius, a revered Stoic emperor, reminds us, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength." We cannot control the actions of others, no matter how much we wish their behavior would match our own sincerity. What we can control, however, is how we respond when it becomes clear that someone is only present when it serves their convenience. It's natural to feel let down, even betrayed, when you recognize that a relationship is one-sided, but understanding this truth can be a powerful catalyst for growth. Modern Stoicism teaches us that while it may sting to acknowledge that certain people only engage when it benefits them, this realization is essential for cultivating a circle of true, supportive individuals. Instead of clinging to relationships that repeatedly disappoint us, we should ask ourselves, what does this person's absence reveal about their place in my life? Are we investing time and energy into those who only value us when it suits their needs? By facing these questions, we empower ourselves to prioritize our own mental and emotional health. Establishing boundaries is not an act of coldness, but a practice of self-respect. It means recognizing that not everyone merits the depth of your loyalty, and that it is wise to direct your support and energy towards those who have shown they are worthy of it. Think of those moments when you were struggling and a friend was there without hesitation. Contrast that with those who always seem to be absent during such times. This discernment can prevent future disappointments and helps you focus on nurturing connections built on genuine care and reciprocity. As Epictetus wisely said, "First say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do." This involves learning to value yourself enough to seek out relationships that align with your own principles of steadfastness and empathy. And yes, there is value in understanding the limitations of others, accepting that some people simply do not have the capacity to offer more than they do. It's not about bitterness or cutting people off with cold precision. It's about aligning your life with those who match your intentions. In embracing the lessons of modern Stoicism, we learn that it's not only okay but necessary to cherish those who support us during both the highs and the lows of life. This doesn't mean closing yourself off to everyone who falls short once or twice. After all, nobody is perfect, but it does mean recognizing patterns. If someone's behavior repeatedly shows that they are only there when life is easy, it's time to reassess their role in your life. Realizing this helps free you from the cycle of expecting support where there is none to be found. The emotional energy that we spend hoping for change in people who are unwilling or unable to provide it can be redirected to nurture bonds that are mutually supportive and enduring. Have you ever considered how much more fulfilled you'd feel if you shifted that energy towards those who have shown their commitment to you, even in difficult times? The essence of modern Stoicism reminds us to remain grounded in self-reliance. By shifting our focus inward and fostering relationships that align with our values, we safeguard our emotional well-being. This mindset doesn't encourage isolation. Rather, it inspires clarity and the cultivation of meaningful connections. It's about knowing that while others may come and go, your peace of mind does not have to waver. Seneca eloquently put it, "Associate with those who will make a better man of you. Welcome those whom you yourself can improve. The process is a mutual one. Men learn as they teach." By being intentional about whom you allow into your inner circle, you foster an environment where loyalty and resilience are mutual, and your spirit remains unshaken by the fickle nature of insincere connections. Understanding that some people are only present for their own convenience is a lesson that can initially feel harsh, but ultimately leads to freedom. It teaches us to cherish the rare and precious people who show up, rain or shine, and allows us to let go of expectations that weigh us down. When we learn to value our time and emotional resources, we build a life that is richer in genuine relationships and true support. And as you move forward, carry with you the enduring truth that while you can't control others, you can choose how you respond, prioritize, and protect your peace. This is the gift of modern Stoicism, a calm, centered spirit that holds its ground, rooted in self-awareness and the pursuit of a life filled with authentic connection. Are you ready to look at your relationships through this lens and decide who truly deserves a place in your life? Number 2. Never initiate contact. One of the clearest signs that someone might not be as genuine as you'd hoped is their consistent failure to initiate contact. At first, this can be easy to overlook, especially if you naturally take on the role of maintaining communication within your relationships. But over time, the imbalance becomes glaringly obvious. When you're always the one reaching out first, making plans or checking in, it's worth pausing to reflect on what this pattern truly signifies. Healthy relationships are built on mutual effort, and when that balance tips too far in one direction, it may indicate that the other person doesn't value the connection as much as you do. You might find yourself justifying their behavior by attributing it to a busy schedule or personal distractions, but when this pattern persists, it often points to a deeper truth. Your role in their life may be secondary or even conditional. This realization can be uncomfortable and even painful as it forces you to confront the one-sided nature of the relationship. Modern Stoicism offers a way to navigate such realizations without letting them erode your sense of self-worth. Epictetus, a revered Stoic philosopher, once stated, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." This principle teaches us that while we cannot control how others behave, we hold full power over our responses. Recognizing that someone never initiates contact might feel like an emotional setback at first, but this awareness can be transformed into an opportunity for personal growth. Modern Stoicism encourages us to recalibrate our expectations to avoid unnecessary disappointment. When you realize that you are the only one putting in the effort to maintain communication, it's a signal to step back and assess the situation. By pausing and allowing space, you create a chance to see if the other person will make an effort to reconnect. This isn't about playing mind games or inducing guilt. It's an act of self-respect and honesty. Marcus Aurelius, the great Stoic emperor, once wrote, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one." This reminds us to act with integrity and stay true to our needs, even if that means accepting uncomfortable truths. When you step back and the silence from the other person continues, you have your answer. No confrontation is necessary, and no overthinking is required, just the simple clarity of understanding where you stand. This realization can be freeing. It shifts your focus from seeking validation in one-sided relationships to investing in connections that are more balanced and fulfilling. Protecting your peace of mind becomes easier when you stop pouring energy into relationships that aren't reciprocated. This doesn't mean you should abandon relationships at the first sign of trouble, but noticing patterns is key. If you find yourself constantly explaining away why someone hasn't reached out or made an effort, it's time to reassess their role in your life. Modern Stoicism emphasizes that real strength lies not in chasing external validation, but in finding contentment within yourself. As Seneca wisely noted, we suffer more often in imagination than in reality. Recognizing the truth behind a one-sided relationship allows you to spare yourself the unnecessary pain of clinging to illusions. This kind of introspection isn't about shutting people out or holding on to resentment. It's about accepting reality and prioritizing your own well-being. You cannot force someone to value your presence, but you can choose to value yourself enough to invest in relationships where effort is shared and mutual. When you focus on relationships that naturally have a two-way flow of effort, you build connections that are more meaningful and rooted in respect. Modern Stoicism supports this by guiding you to maintain emotional balance, detaching from the need for reciprocation that may never come. This empowers you to channel your energy wisely and accept that not all relationships are meant to last. Taking a step back from being the only one who reaches out serves as a silent but powerful test. If someone truly values your relationship, they will make the effort to reach out, even when life is busy. This helps you see who truly supports you and who merely takes your presence for granted. Redirecting your energy toward those who meet you halfway ensures that your time and emotions are spent wisely. As you do this, remind yourself that you hold the power to shape your reactions and direct your efforts. This principle is at the core of modern Stoicism. Finding peace and fulfillment in what you can control, your own actions, attitudes, and choices. By doing so, you enrich your life with balanced, sincere relationships that contribute to your well-being and resilience. Imagine stepping confidently into a future surrounded by people who value and appreciate you for who you are. Ask yourself, where am I placing my energy, and who reaches back when I extend my hand? Answering this question truthfully will help you invest in connections that truly matter and build a network of support and positivity. In the end, understanding the dynamics of who initiates contact in your relationships is about more than just knowing who's more active in communication. It's about realizing who is willing to invest in you as much as you invest in them. Modern Stoicism teaches us that while we can't control the choices or actions of others, we can make wise choices about where we place our time and energy. Embrace the idea that you deserve relationships where effort is mutual, and remember that your peace of mind is worth protecting. This allows you to lead a life filled with authentic connections that encourage growth, support, and shared joy. Number 3. They pretend to agree with you all the time. One of the most telling signs that someone might be faking their way through a relationship with you is when they seem to agree with every word you say, no matter how debatable or thought-provoking your opinion might be. At first glance, it feels reassuring, even flattering, to have someone mirror your views so perfectly. However, this constant agreement can mask something deeper, an unwillingness to show their true self or a subtle attempt to manipulate your trust. It's not about fostering genuine connection or understanding. It's about self-preservation, avoiding conflict, or even gaining an advantage over you. This behavior often lacks sincerity and can leave you wondering whether they truly care or are simply playing along. Now, how do you define a real connection? Authentic relationships aren't about nodding heads and polite smiles. They are built on honesty and a willingness to engage in meaningful, sometimes difficult conversations. If someone consistently avoids disagreement, it may signal that they are more interested in keeping up appearances than sharing their true thoughts. Real friends or partners will value the depth of mutual understanding, even when it comes at the cost of temporary discomfort. They'll challenge your opinions when necessary and listen respectfully when your views differ. These moments of respectful disagreement build trust, not tear it down. In contrast, those who never challenge you may be hiding their real opinions, creating a surface-level relationship that lacks depth or substance. Picture a coworker who always agrees with your ideas during brainstorming sessions. At first, you might think they're being supportive, but over time, you notice they never contribute their own unique thoughts. Later, when something goes wrong, they distance themselves, blaming you for decisions they appeared to support. This kind of yes-person behavior isn't just frustrating, it undermines trust and collaboration. Such people aren't interested in your growth or the team's success. They are simply avoiding accountability while trying to stay in your favor. To spot this behavior, observe how they interact with others. Do they engage in thoughtful debates with people outside your circle? Or do they mirror everyone's opinions indiscriminately? Authenticity often reveals itself in consistency, or its absence. A truly genuine person will remain steady in their values and won't sacrifice their integrity just to avoid a disagreement. The Stoics offer timeless wisdom here. Marcus Aurelius advises, "If it is not true, don't say it. If it is not right, don't do it." This principle applies not just to our own actions, but also to the way we interpret others' behavior. Just as you should strive to embody truth in your words, be cautious of those who shy away from doing the same. If you notice someone agreeing with you all the time, don't jump to conclusions, but be aware. Test the waters gently, invite open-ended discussions, ask their honest opinion on controversial topics, and pay attention to how they respond. Do they offer thoughtful input, or do they simply echo your sentiments? By doing this, you'll not only uncover the authenticity of their character, but also strengthen your ability to navigate such relationships wisely. Value people who are unafraid to disagree with you respectfully, as they are the ones who truly care. Surround yourself with individuals who inspire growth through genuine dialogue, not empty affirmation. And most importantly, stay true to yourself, for authenticity begets authenticity. Number 4. They exaggerate their kindness. One of the most telling signs that someone might be disingenuous is when their kindness feels exaggerated, as though it's less about helping and more about being seen helping. True kindness, after all, is quiet and unassuming. It seeks no audience and expects no applause. But fake kindness? It's loud, showy, and often accompanied by subtle reminders of what you owe them. Perhaps you've encountered this. A friend who always ensures you know how much they've done for you, or a coworker who leaps to help only when the boss is around, but vanishes when the spotlight is off. These actions don't stem from genuine care. They come from self-interest, a calculated attempt to build leverage or craft an image of generosity. When we peel back the layers of performative kindness, we often find motives that are less noble than they appear. The Stoics, who placed immense value on virtue, would call this out for what it is, a failure to align words and actions with authentic character. As Epictetus wisely said, "Don't explain your philosophy, embody it." In other words, true virtue doesn't need to announce itself. It's evident in consistent, quiet actions. Think about someone in your life who has shown genuine kindness. Were they the ones broadcasting their good deeds, or did they simply act out of compassion, even when no one else was watching? The contrast between these behaviors is profound and deeply revealing. Let me share a relatable example. Imagine a neighbor who volunteers to help organize a community event. At first, it seems like they're incredibly giving, but as the days go by, you notice something odd. They're constantly telling everyone how much time they've sacrificed, pointing out the things they've done, and subtly expecting praise in return. In contrast, there's another neighbor who quietly pitches in, never asking for recognition, and works just as hard, if not harder. Which one would you trust more? Which one would you feel truly cares about the community? This difference between genuine and performative kindness shapes not just our relationships, but also our sense of trust in others. To discern real kindness from manipulation, focus on patterns. Is this person consistent in their helpfulness, regardless of who's watching? Do they follow through on their promises when there's no clear benefit to them? Or do their actions seem to evaporate the moment the audience disappears? Asking these questions helps us navigate relationships with clarity, without falling into cynicism. Recognizing manipulation isn't about mistrusting everyone. It's about sharpening your perception and protecting your peace. After all, as Marcus Aurelius reminds us, the soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts. Surrounding yourself with people who act with sincerity can profoundly influence your own character and emotional well-being. But let's not just focus on others. What about us? Are there moments when we've exaggerated our own kindness? Perhaps we've volunteered for something with the hope of being recognized, or maybe we've subtly reminded someone of a favor we did for them. Number 5. Always want something. One of the clearest signs that someone is being insincere is when every interaction with them feels transactional. Have you ever noticed how certain people reach out to you only when they need something, be it advice, a favor, or a connection? These interactions, cloaked in a pretense of care or friendliness, often reveal their true nature over time. Initially, you might think their questions are genuine, that they care about how you're doing or wish to share a moment with you. But then a pattern emerges. They only show interest when there's something in it for them. It's a tough realization, especially if you've been generous with your time and support, hoping that the relationship was built on mutual respect. You might have had that friend who frequently inquires about your work, your skills, or your network, but who vanishes when life becomes difficult for you. This realization can sting and leave you feeling unappreciated. However, modern Stoicism offers us a lens through which to view such behavior with greater clarity and strength. Marcus Aurelius wisely said, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one." This means that instead of getting caught up in the motives of others or feeling resentment, we should focus on living according to our own principles. When faced with someone whose interest in you is driven by what they can gain, it's essential to establish healthy boundaries. You don't need to confront them or cut them out entirely. It's about being mindful of how much of yourself you invest. Ask yourself, is this relationship balanced? Do I feel appreciated for who I am, or just for what I can offer? When you recognize that someone's attention is conditional, it becomes easier to manage your expectations and protect your emotional well-being. Stoicism teaches us that we should not depend on others for our peace of mind. Epictetus put it well when he said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." If someone only contacts you for their benefit, it's more a reflection of their needs or insecurities than of your worth. This realization allows you to approach them with understanding and compassion, without sacrificing your own boundaries. Think about how much lighter your life could feel if you redirected your energy toward relationships that are genuinely reciprocal. Modern Stoicism encourages us to foster connections where there is a mutual exchange of support and sincerity. These relationships nourish both parties, building a network that enhances your resilience and joy. When you prioritize connections that uplift you, it's easier to let go of the frustration that comes from feeling used. This isn't about cynicism or distrust. It's about valuing your time and emotional energy. If someone continually takes without giving, consider limiting how much of yourself you share with them. Doing so not only preserves your peace, but also sends a clear message that your value extends beyond what you can provide. There is freedom in understanding that you cannot control the motives of others, only how you respond. Stoicism's teachings empower you to detach from external validation and to find contentment within your own actions and integrity. Marcus Aurelius also noted, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." This is a reminder to focus on nurturing positive, balanced relationships that contribute to your well-being. If you shift your attention from trying to change transactional people to embracing those who show genuine care, you create a life enriched by true connections. This perspective doesn't mean you stop being kind or generous. It simply means being discerning. We all have limited time and energy, and it's wise to spend it on those who value your presence for who you are, not just for what you can offer. If someone's behavior disappoints you, it can be tempting to dwell on it or confront them in anger. But Stoic secrets tell us that true strength comes from acting with calm and intention. Instead of confronting their motives head-on, take a step back, observe, and adjust your emotional investment. This approach fosters a sense of control and tranquility, helping you navigate relationships with wisdom and resilience. In the end, people motivated by self-interest are not inherently malicious. They're often driven by their own needs or insecurities. Understanding this can help you approach them with empathy while still preserving your peace. Let this awareness be a guide to shift your energy toward connections that truly matter. When you surround yourself with those who appreciate and reciprocate your support, you create a community that enriches your life. Ask yourself, are the relationships in your life helping you grow, or are they draining your spirit? Modern Stoicism teaches us that by focusing on what we can control, our choices and where we invest our energy, we build a foundation of inner peace and meaningful connections that sustain us through life's complexities. Number 6. Talk behind your back. One of the most painful realizations is discovering that someone you trusted has been talking behind your back. This kind of betrayal cuts deep, shaking your confidence and challenging your trust in others. While it's not always easy to find direct evidence of gossip, subtle cues like forced smiles, insincere interactions, or dismissive tones often hint that someone may not have your best interests at heart. These moments can create a quiet sense of unease, making you question the genuineness of your relationships. But here's where Stoic secrets come into play. Modern Stoicism teaches us that while we can't control what others say or do, we do have complete power over how we respond. Marcus Aurelius, the wise Stoic emperor, once said, "If someone is able to show me that what I think or do is not right, I will happily change, for I seek the truth." This profound insight reminds us to anchor our peace in our own integrity and not in the opinions of others. When you learn that someone has been speaking poorly of you, it's natural to feel a surge of emotion, anger, sadness, even betrayal. But before reacting impulsively, pause and ask yourself, does this change who I am or affect my true worth? More often than not, the answer is a firm no. People who gossip or speak ill of others are often motivated by insecurity, jealousy, or their own dissatisfaction. Knowing this allows you to detach emotionally from their negativity and refuse to let it erode your self-esteem. It's tempting to confront them immediately, to demand answers or justification, but this approach can sometimes escalate tensions and create more drama than resolution. Instead, assess whether addressing it is worth your peace of mind. If you choose to bring it up, do so with composure and clarity. If not, practice letting it pass, keeping your inner peace intact. Stoic secrets teach us that true resilience lies in the ability to remain calm and composed amid external turbulence. Let me share a story that may sound familiar. A colleague of mine once discovered through mutual friends that a coworker had been spreading rumors about her at the office. The news stung. She felt blindsided and betrayed. At first, she considered confronting the coworker to set the record straight, but after reflecting on her actions and turning to Stoic teachings, she decided to respond differently. She focused on her work, maintained her integrity, and continued to treat everyone with respect. Soon enough, those around her saw the truth through her unwavering character. In the end, the coworker's words lost their weight, and she emerged stronger, her reputation untouched. This experience taught her a vital lesson. Sometimes, maintaining your dignity and composure speaks louder than any words you could say in defense. Think about the times when you felt hurt by gossip. Did reacting with anger or lashing out bring you the peace you sought, or did it fuel the fire? Stoicism invites us to consider our reactions carefully. Marcus Aurelius also said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This wisdom encourages us to redirect our energy toward nurturing relationships that are authentic and positive. Instead of wasting time on those who spread negativity, invest in connections with people who uplift and respect you. By choosing where to focus your attention, you not only protect your peace, but also reinforce your inner fortitude. Addressing betrayal, especially when it involves words said behind your back, doesn't mean ignoring it entirely. It's about choosing which battles are worth fighting and which ones are better left behind. If you decide to confront someone, do it thoughtfully, rooted in facts and your own sense of calm. If not, let their words dissipate like smoke, choosing not to let them pollute your inner world. Modern Stoicism reminds us that our true strength comes not from the noise around us, but from the stillness we cultivate within. People will talk, that's a fact of life, but their opinions do not have the power to define you unless you allow them to. Ask yourself, are these opinions a reflection of who I truly am, or of the person who speaks them? By adopting this approach, you can shift your focus from trying to control the uncontrollable to fostering what truly matters, authentic connections and self-respect. When you choose to rise above gossip and negativity, you embody the Stoic spirit, remaining calm, wise, and resilient in the face of trivial distractions. This kind of resilience not only protects your peace, but also sets an example for those around you. It demonstrates that while the world may be filled with noise, your life is guided by a deeper, quieter strength. Prioritize the people and relationships that bring real value into your life. By doing so, you remind yourself that your worth is rooted not in the fleeting words of others, but in your consistent character. And in the end, that's what truly endures. Number 7. They avoid vulnerability. When it comes to authentic relationships, one of the clearest indicators of their strength is vulnerability. Those moments when you can openly share your fears, failures, and doubts without fear of judgment. True connections thrive on this mutual openness because it builds trust and fosters genuine understanding. On the other hand, individuals who avoid vulnerability often reveal themselves as inauthentic. They may sidestep personal conversations, downplay your struggles with surface-level advice, or even change the topic entirely. Their walls aren't there to protect you. They're there to protect themselves, shielding a lack of depth and sincerity. And while it's natural to guard one's heart occasionally, a complete unwillingness to engage in meaningful dialogue leaves the relationship shallow and unfulfilling, often leaving you feeling isolated and unsupported. This avoidance stems from discomfort with authenticity. Vulnerability is a test of character. It requires courage to be open and honest, and not everyone is willing to take that step. As men, especially in the age range of 40 to 70, we're often taught to equate strength with silence, to bear our burdens alone, and to keep emotions under control. But true strength, as the Stoics teach us, lies in self-awareness and the ability to engage honestly with others. Seneca reminds us, "A faithful friend is an image of goodness." If someone refuses to meet you in your moments of need, it might be time to question the depth of their commitment to the relationship. Authenticity requires effort, and real friends will take the time to share in your vulnerabilities just as you share in theirs. Think about this in the context of modern life. You might have a coworker who's quick to share a laugh or talk about last night's game, but clams up when the conversation turns personal. Or perhaps a friend you've known for years avoids addressing serious topics, sticking to trivialities while you're struggling with a major life challenge. These interactions may feel comfortable on the surface, but over time they can leave you yearning for deeper connections. How many people in your life truly know you, your hopes, fears, and the moments that shaped you? And how many do you feel genuinely know them? If the answers are few, it's worth examining whether the people around you are willing to build the bridges of vulnerability that connect authentic relationships. The Stoic lessons on relationships emphasize clarity and discernment. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." This suggests that the people we surround ourselves with influence not only our emotional state, but also our moral compass. If you're constantly engaging with individuals who avoid meaningful connection, it can start to erode your own sense of authenticity. Guard your energy and invest in relationships where both parties are willing to be open and honest. These connections, even if fewer in number, will prove far more fulfilling than a network of surface-level acquaintances who avoid the uncomfortable truths of life. So, how do you approach this in practice? Start by leading with vulnerability yourself. Share something personal, a moment of failure or doubt, and see how the other person responds. Do they reciprocate with their own openness, or do they deflect and retreat? It's in these moments that the true nature of a relationship becomes clear. This doesn't mean you should lay bare your soul to everyone, but a calculated willingness to show your humanity can act as a litmus test for authenticity. And when you find people who respond with warmth and understanding, nurture those connections. They are rare and invaluable. Ultimately, life is too short to spend on relationships that only skim the surface. As you reflect on your own connections, consider this. Are the people in your life willing to meet you where you are, or do they keep you at arm's length? Are they open to exploring the depths of what it means to be human, or are they content with the shallow waters of small talk and avoidance? The Stoics remind us that the quality of our relationships directly impacts the quality of our lives. By surrounding yourself with those who value vulnerability, you'll not only create deeper bonds but also grow in your own emotional resilience and authenticity. After all, true strength isn't about avoiding pain or weakness. It's about embracing it and finding meaning within. Gentlemen are easy to deal with, but it's hard to fathom the hearts of the deceitful. It is easy to be on good terms with a gentleman, but the deceitful are a puzzle to decipher. Ancient wisdom. Have you ever encountered someone whose actions just didn't match their words? They seem polite, even charming on the surface, yet beneath lies manipulation, hypocrisy, and dishonesty. Unfortunately, these individuals, often called villains or deceitful people, exist in every society and every era. While good people seek to live with integrity and discipline, the deceitful thrive in the shadows, bending the rules to serve themselves. So, what can we do when honesty and kindness seem no match for cunning and treachery? Should we ignore them, or is there a wiser approach? Right now, we'll uncover 4 timeless strategies inspired by ancient teachings to help you deal with deceitful individuals without losing your composure or values. These insights will empower you to navigate such encounters with wisdom, strength, and clarity. How have you handled deceitful people in your life? Let us know in the comments, and stay tuned as we explore these powerful lessons together. 1. Kindness should be applied with limits. Kindness is a virtue celebrated across cultures and philosophies, but as Confucian teachings remind us, it must be balanced with wisdom and discretion. The principles of benevolence, propriety, righteousness, wisdom, and trustworthiness guide virtuous individuals toward integrity and meaningful action, shaping societies and turning people into pillars of their communities. Yet, kindness is not synonymous with weakness or blind generosity. In a world where deceitful individuals thrive on manipulation, failing to set boundaries with your kindness can lead to self-destruction, not just for yourself, but also for those you love. Think about this. If you pour endless time and care into someone who only takes advantage of your goodwill, what happens to your energy for those who truly need you? This is where kindness, like any virtue, must be tempered with fairness and foresight. In Story perfectly illustrates this balance. Imagine a dedicated coworker who always goes out of their way to help a colleague who seems constantly overwhelmed. At first, it feels rewarding to lend a hand, but as time goes on, it becomes clear that this colleague is simply offloading their responsibilities onto others while taking credit for the work. The kindness that once felt fulfilling now feels like a burden, even a betrayal, as the self-serving nature of this person becomes apparent. Have you ever been in a similar situation where your good intentions were taken for granted? What did you learn from it? This is why it's essential to set limits and assess who deserves your help and when. It's not unkind to say no. It's a necessary act of self-preservation that protects your resources and enables you to focus on relationships where mutual respect and support exist. The Stoics, too, emphasized this principle. Epictetus once said, "First, learn the meaning of what you say, and then speak." This can be applied to acts of kindness as well. First, understand the purpose of your actions, and then act. If kindness is applied indiscriminately, it can be wasted or even harmful, enabling deceitful behavior instead of curbing it. There is wisdom in being kind but firm, welcoming friends with open arms, but standing guard against those with ill intent. As the saying goes, welcome friends with good wine, but prepare weapons for enemies. While this may sound harsh, it reflects the reality that kindness without boundaries can leave you vulnerable to exploitation. To practice balanced kindness, begin by observing the intentions and actions of those around you. Are they reciprocating your goodwill, or do they only appear when they need something from you? Are they genuinely struggling, or are they manipulating the situation to their advantage? These questions are not meant to foster distrust, but to cultivate discernment. After all, it is not unkind to protect yourself. It is wise. By setting limits, you ensure that your kindness is meaningful and impactful, offered to those who value and respect it. At the same time, you avoid enabling the behavior of those who might use your goodwill against you. Kindness is not a blank check to be handed out without thought or measure. It is a precious resource that, when applied thoughtfully, can transform lives, foster trust, and build strong, authentic connections. However, when misdirected or overextended, it can lead to exhaustion, resentment, and even harm. By balancing kindness with fairness and boundaries, you not only protect yourself, but also ensure that your actions align with your values and contribute to a more just and meaningful world. 2. Villains fear those stronger than themselves. Deceitful individuals, often referred to as villains, have a particular trait that defines their behavior. They prey on those they perceive as weaker while shrinking away from those who exhibit strength. It's not enough to feign fear or offer insincere praise to such individuals. These tactics often embolden them. Instead, one must understand their nature and respond accordingly. Villains thrive on the imbalance of power, finding satisfaction in exploiting vulnerabilities, but they falter and retreat when confronted by someone who exudes confidence, integrity, and strength. Have you ever noticed how bullies in life, whether in the workplace, personal relationships, or social circles, change their demeanor when faced with someone they cannot intimidate? This is not a coincidence, but a reflection of their deep-seated insecurity and fear of those who stand firm. The key to dealing with such people lies in cultivating your own inner and outer strength. This doesn't mean becoming aggressive or domineering, but it does mean embodying the kind of resilience and confidence that cannot be easily shaken. As the Stoics remind us, true strength begins from within. Marcus Aurelius famously said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." By mastering your emotions and maintaining composure in the face of deceit, you not only protect yourself, but also send a clear message. You are not someone to be trifled with. Villains feed off fear and submission, deprive them of this nourishment, and they lose their grip. A manipulative colleague at work who always tries to take credit for others' efforts or subtly undermines their peers to climb the ladder. This type of person often targets those who avoid confrontation or lack the confidence to stand up for themselves. However, when confronted by someone who is assertive, articulate, and unafraid to hold them accountable, they retreat, often recalibrating their behavior or redirecting their tactics elsewhere. Why? Because they fear exposure and resistance more than anything. What does this tell us about how to handle such individuals? Are we showing them our vulnerabilities, or are we demonstrating the strength that demands respect? This concept of strength also applies to the way you project yourself outwardly. Your words, actions, and even body language play a role in how you are perceived. Showing kindness and fairness is essential, but as mentioned earlier, kindness without boundaries can be mistaken for weakness. Similarly, confidence must be balanced with humility and principle. When necessary, don't shy away from displaying firmness, even a touch of ruthlessness, to remind deceitful individuals that you are not easily manipulated. This isn't about adopting their tactics, but about ensuring they understand you are a principled person with boundaries that cannot be crossed. The Stoics teach us to remain steadfast and resilient, even when faced with adversity. Epictetus advised, "Make the best use of what is in your power, and take the rest as it happens." When dealing with deceitful individuals, your power lies in your ability to stay composed, strategic, and unwavering. Strength isn't about brute force, it's about clarity of purpose and the courage to stand up for what is right. By embodying this strength, you send a powerful message to those who seek to exploit you. They cannot win by preying on you because you are not an easy target. At the same time, it's important to ask yourself, what does strength mean to you? Is it the ability to confront someone directly, or is it the quiet resolve to hold your ground without losing your principles? Strength takes many forms, and understanding which one resonates with you will help you navigate interactions with deceitful individuals more effectively. Perhaps it's about finding the courage to speak up in situations where you've previously stayed silent, or learning to say no when your boundaries are being tested. Whatever it may be, cultivating your strength is a journey, not a destination, and each step forward builds your ability to handle challenges with grace and resolve. When you cultivate both inner resilience and outward confidence, you strip away their power to manipulate or control you. This approach not only protects your well-being, but also inspires respect and sets a standard for how you expect to be treated. Villains may try to exploit your weaknesses, but they will always fear your strength. By understanding this dynamic and embracing your own power, you can navigate such challenges with wisdom, composure, and an unwavering commitment to your values. 3. Outward respect, inward vigilance. When faced with deceitful individuals, the key is not to meet their malice with open hostility or disdain, but to master the delicate art of maintaining an outward appearance of respect while staying inwardly vigilant. Dealing with such people requires strategy, not impulsiveness, because direct confrontation can backfire, especially when they have influential allies or a cunning nature. Instead, as ancient wisdom advises, keep your enemies close but never let down your guard. In moments of interaction, offer them outward politeness, a calm demeanor, and perhaps even a touch of reverence if the situation demands it. However, beneath that surface, remain acutely aware of their true nature and motives, always watching for opportunities to reveal the cracks in their facade. This approach is not about deceit, it is about self-preservation and strategic wisdom. As Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury." By refusing to stoop to their level, you maintain your integrity while quietly preparing for the right moment to act. A modern workplace scenario. A manipulative colleague constantly undermines you while pretending to be an ally. Confronting them aggressively could damage your reputation, especially if they have powerful connections. Instead, maintain professionalism, let them bask in their overconfidence and observe. Sooner or later, their own behavior will betray them, providing you the clarity and opportunity to expose their true intentions without compromising your own position. Have you ever faced such a challenge? How did you balance your need for vigilance with the necessity of maintaining appearances? The wisdom of Stoicism teaches us that our power lies in controlling our reactions and remaining steadfast in our values. Epictetus advised, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." This lesson applies perfectly to handling deceitful individuals. By staying composed and avoiding emotional outbursts, you not only protect yourself from their schemes but also project an image of strength and resilience. Villains thrive on provoking chaos and exploiting vulnerabilities, but when you refuse to give them the satisfaction of seeing you flustered, you undermine their efforts. Your calmness becomes your shield, and your vigilance becomes your sword. A useful strategy in these situations is to employ calculated humility or even feigned submission when needed. While this may feel counterintuitive, it often disarms deceitful individuals and allows them to lower their guard. In negotiations with someone you know to be manipulative, appearing deferential can make them overplay their hand, exposing their intentions. This creates the perfect opportunity to turn the tables, addressing their deceit without unnecessary confrontation. In this sense, Stoic lessons guide us to focus on long-term outcomes rather than fleeting victories. Are you willing to play the long game to protect your integrity and achieve justice? Or are you tempted by the short-term satisfaction of calling out a wrongdoer immediately? This approach of outward respect and inward vigilance isn't about cowardice, it's about wisdom and strength. By remaining composed, you demonstrate that you are not easily provoked or manipulated. Deceitful people often rely on others reacting emotionally to their schemes. But when you refuse to engage on their terms, you maintain the upper hand. Think of it as a game of chess, where every move must be calculated and intentional. As Sun Tzu famously said, all warfare is based on deception. Your ability to disguise your intentions while carefully observing theirs is a powerful tool in navigating the complexities of human relationships. By practicing outward respect and inward vigilance, you create an environment where their own actions reveal their true nature. This method not only protects your peace of mind, but also ensures that you maintain the moral high ground. So the next time you encounter someone whose actions don't match their words, remember to stay composed, observe closely, and let your inner strength guide your responses. In the end, it's not about outsmarting them. It's about staying true to yourself while navigating their duplicity with wisdom and grace. You've come this far because you're ready to embrace truth and authenticity in your life. Let us know in the comments by saying, "No more illusions," and show that you're committed to breaking through the fake and building stronger, real connections. Don't go anywhere. There's so much more to learn and grow. 4. Use cunning against the cunning. Punish evil without hesitation. When dealing with deceitful individuals, it's easy to feel as though the odds are stacked against you. Many believe that a principled person cannot outmaneuver a villain because the deceitful thrive on manipulation, lies, and covert tactics. But what if we reframed this challenge? What if, instead of being outplayed, we turned their own methods against them? As the old adage goes, when two warring factions exhaust themselves, the bystander reaps the benefits. This means that by carefully instigating conflicts or using one deceitful person to neutralize another, you can protect yourself while letting their own schemes dismantle them. It's not about becoming deceitful yourself, but about using strategy to avoid unnecessary risk and staying ahead of their tricks. This approach not only spares you from direct confrontation, but also preserves your peace and position. A modern workplace scenario where two colleagues are vying for influence, each using underhanded tactics to undermine the other. Instead of diving into the fray or exposing yourself to their games, observe their actions and subtly steer the conflict to your advantage. By remaining neutral and allowing them to weaken one another, you emerge unscathed and even gain credibility as someone who stays above petty disputes. Have you ever found yourself in a situation like this where stepping back proved wiser than stepping in? Reflecting on such experiences can help us see how cunning can be countered with wisdom and patience, not aggression. But what happens once you've successfully dealt with deceitful individuals? Here lies an essential Stoic lesson. Once evil is defeated, it must not be given the chance to rise again. Evil, when left unchecked, is like smoldering embers. It waits for the right conditions to ignite and wreak havoc once more. Seneca wisely said, "He who spares the guilty harms the innocent." If you allow those with malicious intent to remain in your sphere, they will find new ways to undermine you. Addressing wrongdoing requires decisiveness and firmness, and this often means making difficult decisions to ensure that deceitful individuals are permanently removed from positions of influence in your life. Does this sound harsh? Perhaps, but allowing their behavior to persist only invites further harm. The need for firmness in punishing deceitful acts is not about vengeance. It's about protecting your values, your peace of mind, and the people who depend on your integrity. Stoicism teaches us the importance of prioritizing what we can control, and in this case, it means taking action when faced with wrongdoing. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, "Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one. In other words, take action to uphold justice, even when it's uncomfortable, because inaction allows deceit to grow unchecked. This lesson is particularly relevant in today's interconnected world, where manipulation and dishonesty can spread quickly, leaving wide-reaching consequences in their wake. Think about relationships or scenarios in your own life. Have you ever been too lenient with someone who betrayed your trust only to find that their behavior worsened over time? Did you hesitate to set firm boundaries, hoping they would change? These situations teach us the importance of acting decisively, of not letting kindness or hesitation become enablers for further harm. It's a hard lesson, but one that pays dividends in maintaining your integrity and protecting those around you. Punishing wrongdoing isn't about cruelty. It's about ensuring that it doesn't continue to disrupt your life or the lives of others. In applying these principles, remember that the goal is to maintain your peace of mind and integrity while navigating the complexities of deceitful interactions. Using cunning against the cunning isn't about stooping to their level, but about understanding their game and refusing to play by their rules. And when the moment comes to act, be decisive and firm, removing their influence entirely. By doing so, you not only protect yourself but also cultivate the strength and wisdom that Stoic lessons encourage. As you reflect on your own experiences, ask yourself, how can you apply these strategies to safeguard your values and create a life free from the chaos of deceit? By embracing these timeless lessons, you take a powerful step toward a life of authenticity and peace. To truly recognize inauthentic behaviors, remember that growth begins by applying these insights to your daily life and prioritizing relationships that align with your values. Stoicism reminds us to focus on what we can control, our reactions, our mindset, and the company we choose to keep. By seeking authenticity and fostering meaningful connections, you pave the way for a more peaceful and fulfilling life. Have you encountered any of these signs in your relationships? Share your experiences in the comments below. We'd love to hear how you plan to integrate these Stoic lessons into your journey. If you found value in today's video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel, Stoic In Your Life. Turn on notifications so you won't miss any of our upcoming videos filled with insights and inspiration to guide you on your path to a more authentic and empowered life. Thank you for watching, and until next time, stay strong and keep practicing Stoicism.